Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Hey everybody, this is Tank Sinatra. You're listening to the Think Tank podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm glad to have you here. If you're enjoying the show, please do me a favor. Head over to iTunes and leave a review. I love reading them. And if you want access to the full archive with episodes such as Jesse Itzler, Dan Soder, Derek Huff, DMC, go to gasdigitalnetwork.com and use promo code TANK for 2 free weeks and access to all the other shows on the network. Enjoy the episode.
Are they all here?
All but one.
Well, I'm going anyway.
I'm the best at what I do.
You're listening to the Think Tank podcast.
Look at that fucking smile on my face.
With your host, Tank Sinatra.
Happy Thanksgiving.
That was fucking intense.
You know what? Welcome to the Think Tank.
Yeah,
first of all.
Thank you.
Joe Santagato in the Think Tank. I forget that intro is like a little hectic, and
Look at my fucking face. I was like,
I'm the
shit.
best at what I do. It felt cool when I put it together, and every time I hear it, I'm like, I gotta change that.
No,
It's scenes from the opening is from Glengarry Glen Ross, Alec Baldwin's speech, and then the next one is from He Got Game with Al Palagonia, where he's trying to sign the basketball player, and the last one is from Boiler Room, which I'm a Long Island guy from the early 2000s. I never sold mortgages or stocks, but I thought it was cool that people did. They made money.
Don't believe that at all.
I was waiting tables. I could not get it together to wake up that early and make phone calls.
Dude, I used to wait tables too, and it was fucking terrible.
Oh, I had so much fun.
I wanted to have fun, but it was like I worked at a pizzeria that was new, and I was the only competent person that they hired.
Did
so
you
I was
make
doing
money?
everything. Hell no.
Well, yeah, that's. I mean,
I was making like $7 an hour.
I worked at restaurants where I made money, which was good being in my early 20s and mid 20s. I made, whatever it was, a couple $100s a night on the weeknights, and then the weekends were good. But it was like, after you're done training, you're maxed out. You hit the ceiling as soon as you start.
Yeah.
As soon as you hit the floor, you're making as much as you're going to make.
And that job, I didn't even, I quit, but not professionally. I just kind of didn't go. And then after, they didn't call me on the first day that I was supposed to go in. I just didn't go in, and they didn't call me. 3 days later, they called me and they're like, "Are you gonna come back to work?" And I was like, I don't think so.
What do you guys think?
And I was just kind of like, I don't think so. And they're like, all right, see ya. And
How long did you work there for?
Like a year.
Oh, and you just
I just walked. I don't know. I don't even know why. I can't remember if I even had a job lined up or anything. I was just like, I'm not doing that.
I mean, that's a ghost story if I ever heard one before.
It was terrible, dude. I mean, I had to do the register it was a pizzeria, so I was doing the register, and I had to go downstairs and package some food together because they have all the octopus we're gonna put in this shit or whatever. So I would do that too. When it got busy, I would have to deliver sometimes, and I also had to wait tables.
So you were the owner, basically.
And I was making like $7 an hour. It was terrible.
Did you know how to make pizza?
Hell no, I didn't know how to. I mean, I could. I mean,
Where was it? You grew up in Queens, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Astoria. It was in Astoria. It was like walking distance from my mom's house.
So you were like, I heard you say this on the History Hyenas podcast. So you were like a little kid in Astoria?
Yeah.
I cannot imagine.
Isn't that crazy? Because it's funny that you say that, right? Because it's still like that to this day. Where if I'm walking around,
everybody's
and I
18 and up.
Yeah. No, now it's like even later. Like if you're 25 years old,
yeah,
and I see you on the street, I'm like, who the fuck is that? Because I should know everyone in this neighborhood. I mean, it's a big neighborhood. There's a lot of different people or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's even like the age has come down a little bit. But when I was a kid, like all my friends I've known my entire life, and the only reason why is because we're the only fucking kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like everyone on my block was 95 and like on their deathbed and like.
Where did you go to school? You went to school in Queens?
I went to PS2, which was like walking
the second
distance.
School ever.
Yeah, the second public school of all time. I went to PS2, then I went to Louis Armstrong Middle School in East Elmhurst, and then I went to St. Francis Prep in Fresh Meadows.
Nice. All right. I figured you went to some kind of fancy high school.
Yeah.
You got that air about you.
Do I?
Yeah.
I hated it. I did. I didn't like it.
No, you seem... So here's my story with you. I've known about you for a long time. Not to sound weird, but I remember... I mean, you've been making videos on Facebook for...
Yeah,
7-8 years.
Something like that.
It was like one of your first ones that I saw, and I was like, half of me, I'm just being honest, was like, this guy's really funny. And then the other half of me was like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
I want to
That's
do
exactly like the thing that I give off. I know.
Well, no, it's because you were doing what I wanted to do, but I couldn't get it together to do it. I like did not want to sit down and learn how to edit video and write a script. Like I knew you weren't just throwing this shit together. It looked really professional for somebody who's just doing it in their house.
Yeah. I mean, I
You had shit pop up on the screen, like images, inlays. It was like a newscast, but from your basement.
Yeah. I mean, I started doing it like, I don't even know. Like, I mean, when I was a kid, my mom had this, she gave me this camcorder that would record on cassette tapes. So I would make videos with my friends and like, but you have to rewind it and then record over it in order to edit. You know what I mean? There was no SD card into the computer and like figure out how to, there was none of that. So I started doing that. But then there was like years that I wasn't making anything. And then I got another camcorder and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start filming videos of me and my friends going to my friend's summer house. And then I was like, I know iMovie just comes standard on this computer.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to try it out. And I literally was just typing full sentences into Google, like, how do I make words pop up on the screen?
Yeah.
And like, that's how I figured out. I still do that to this day, like to figure out anything.
But you were able to figure it out.
Yeah, eventually I figured it out. And then I actually got a lot of help because I was doing that for a long time on YouTube. I gained like 250,000 subscribers, but I got flagged like immediately.
Why?
I don't know.
The
But
language?
there was no like, I don't even know what the fuck they're called. Like MCNs? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, multi-channel network or whatever it is.
Yeah, those things. There was no MCNs when I first started doing it. And apparently you could get like fucked by people if they like click on your ads and it makes it look like I told them to do that. Like you're not allowed to do that. So they flagged me for that, which I didn't do. I didn't even know it like existed at the time. So I made like 13 cents and they were like, all right, cool, no more money. So I was like, all right, but I kept doing it.
How much more do you need though?
I know. I mean, at that point, I was hyped to get a thing that said I made money off of making these videos. I was like, yo, this is sick. But
And when was that?
this was like 2012 or 2012. It was like 2012 when this happened, or 2011, something like that. And I was gonna quit doing it because I wasn't getting paid.
Yeah.
And I was 21 now, and I'm like, dude, I can't do this forever for like free. Like I need to figure out what the hell I'm gonna do because I had dropped out of college, not for this, but just because I'm an asshole, you know.
Yeah.
But then I got a job working for a company called Elite Daly, and
Oh, that's right.
yeah, so I worked at Elite Daly for a little bit, and
What did you do there? I remember seeing
I was an editor and producer for them.
I remember seeing you in a picture, like a staff picture. I knew Gerard Adams, who was one of the founders there.
Yeah.
And either he posted the picture or there was some kind of article that came out when Elite Daily was bought, and I saw you in the picture, and I knew you from the Facebook videos.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit! Oh, that's why they were successful.
No.
This guy.
They like saved everything for me, like in a way, because like I said, I was gonna quit doing it, go back to school, and just be like, all right, maybe I'll do it on the side, not take it too seriously, whatever.
Yeah.
But then I remember I had like $175 in my bank account, and they were like, yo, do you want to come be in this video? We'll pay you $150. So I'm thinking like,
Double
I'm
my
about to
net
double
worth.
up, dude. You know, exactly. I'm about to be like, oh shit. So I went there and I did the video, and then the CEO, this kid David, was like, yo, do you want to work here? We're trying to build out like a video team. And it was me and this kid, Tyler Gilden, and it was me, him, and two cameramen. And that's how it started. And then eventually when I quit, I think the video team was like 20 or 30 people. And it was like shortly after they were bought. Like after they were bought, I was like, all right, I'm gonna walk away and try to like do my own thing. And I also got a lot of knowledge from this guy. His name is Greg Parker. He's like the only reason why I'm good at editing or producing or any of that shit. Like I sat next to him and he taught me like everything because I wanted to know how to do everything, you know? So that's how I got all my editing skills and producing skills were from that job. And it also was kind of like the reason why I kept doing it, because I was ready to quit, because I was like, I'm not making money doing this. Like I can't do it forever.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Did you make money when they exited?
What do you mean? Did
Like,
I have equity?
Did you have stock?
No, I didn't have any equity.
Ah,
No.
motherfuckers. Next time.
But now I actually work with the CEO at the time and the COO of Elite Daily. They have a new venture, a telecom company that I'm in with them on.
Oh, the a new phone or something?
Yeah, it's a telecom. So it's like a Sprint or a Verizon.
I saw something about that
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah, it's 2
When did you
years
first
old.
announce it? 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think it's 2 years old
I felt
now.
like, God damn it, man. When I had my second son has warped time for me like you can't even imagine.
Why?
It just I thought in my mind that was like 4 years ago that I saw you say that. It just I don't know. I'm older. I'm 39. I'm older than you. So time does speed up as you go. It gets like, relatively less, like 1 year is a less of a fraction of my life, so it goes faster. But also having having 2 kids and quitting my job, I think it's a combination of things. The last 2 years have just been a total
Whirlwind.
Yeah, a whirlwind. I was gonna say blur, but it hasn't been a blur because I've done a lot of living and I have a lot of memories from the last 2 years, and I've done well. I'm not rich, but I enjoy what I'm doing and I'm able to support my family. But that little, the 2-year-old man, he just hit the speed button on life. 2 years, I don't even know. It could be 6 months. It could be 10 years.
You just completely have no sense of time.
I have no sense of time anymore.
Yeah.
So how's the telecom company doing?
Very well. We did a lot of growth in the first 2 years, especially the kind of growth that we did. Like a lot of people weren't expecting it to happen.
That's a fucking big balls venture. Right
it's a fucking huge balls venture, and I'm just happy to be along for the ride.
Elephantiasis
honestly.
balls.
We kind of are just kind of figuring it out along the way. It is very legitimate. Like everyone thinks
That's what you want to do with the telecom company. Just wing it. Figure it out.
It's a good fucking pun there too. But a lot of people just think that it's some random sponsor or something. It's like, no, we are building this thing. Like we are all working together. Like there's a bunch of people that work at the company that worked at Elite Daily. And I do another podcast with this kid, Greg, and he works there as well.
Yeah.
He's like the third in command there. And, we have offices in Canada and shit. Like, it's all very, a legitimate operation.
Oh, I believe you.
But people are just like, the fuck is this,
People do get mad. I remember I wrote a book, and when I was promoting the book, people were mad I was promoting the book.
It's like, why the fuck would I write it?
They were like, enough ads already. I'm like, it took me 10 years to write this fucking book.
It's just a decade.
And then
it took.
And then the meme app that we put out, I was doing ads for that. I was promoting that, and people were like, enough with the fucking app. We don't care. I'm like, well, fuck. I block I just block everybody. I'd have 10 million followers right now if I didn't.
See,
block people.
I got this weird thing where I'm like, I want to block people, but I also don't, because I'm like, oh, then they'll know I blocked them, and then they win.
Oh, I want them to know. I want them to know because I want them to have to explain to their friends when their friends go, oh, did you see that meme on Tank's page?
And you're like, nah.
I actually told him I hope his mom gets cancer, and he blocked me. So I want him to have no friends. I want him to I want his friends to look at him differently because I blocked him. Because I'm so nice to everybody. Like I don't block anybody unless unless you say something really shitty
Crazy
or really
comment.
annoying. I used to block people for anything. They would, if somebody wrote "not funny" on a meme, I'd be like,
"Fuck you, man,
son of a bitch." Even though I agreed. You know, I don't think memes are that funny. Every once in a while, I'll get one that makes me laugh.
Yeah.
But I just make them because it's fun to comment. It's more of a commentary for me on society.
I'm very curious about your page because it's first of all, you were just hard to ignore, which is
I know you tried.
No. You know what it was? It was like, who the fuck is this? For the longest, I'd be like, who the fuck is this? He's on everyone's picture. A comment from Tank Sinatra's there. And I was like, who the fuck is this? You know?
I try to watch that because I don't want to be the
Well, I think they kind of got rid of that.
Fit mommy official status.
Well, there was a couple of accounts. I can't remember their names now because they probably fizzled out. But there was certain accounts that I would always see in the comments of other people's pictures. And I'd be like, who is, and then I'm realizing okay, this is a marketing tactic here because it's on all these popular posts, but a verified account is going to get to the top. Yeah. At the time, at least. I don't know. The fucking algorithm changes every day.
No, they still do it. I would do that. There was a couple of people who abused that privilege, that algorithm thing. I would just, if I had something, if it was a friend of mine, somebody that I had met through Instagram, even if they were a celebrity, and I had something to add positive to the thing or funny or whatever, I would comment. But there's people out there who will literally just comment on anybody's
just
account
like a fire
with over
emoji.
1 million followers. Yeah, and I'm not writing a fire emoji or the laughing emoji face. If I have something to add, I'll write it. But often I have something to add. I have a lot of fucking thoughts that I want to get out there.
Yeah.
So let's go back to you ignoring me. So you were ignoring me, and then
no, I wasn't ignoring you, but I was just I was saying you're hard to ignore because I would see your name so much.
Yeah.
That it was almost like you're getting. It was almost like I said, it's a marketing tool in a way because it was I would see it all the time, and that could be just because we're following the same people.
Probably, yeah.
And it's oh, I see this name all the time now, and then you realize it's one of those pages with the memes and whatnot. I'm also just curious about the whole meme page like industry.
It was
because
destiny, bro.
I have like I could sit and talk in this room for 6 hours straight.
Yeah.
You know, and I like to think I can make like 4.5 of them like entertaining. The other would just be God knows what
Nonsense.
But
pee breaks.
I can't for the life of me make a meme at all.
Sure you can.
I really can't.
I'll teach you.
I've tried. I've been like, yo, this would be fun. And then I'm like, yo, this is terrible, dude. And I just think it's like a whole other industry in my eyes.
It's totally different. It's got to be a like your co-host, who I want to publicly apologize for not having come on. Not that he's going to listen, but I want him to let him know that I'm thinking of him. If you're good with like one-liners or quick quips, I hate the word. I don't even know. I swore
Quip.
I would never use the word quip, but it is what it is. It's like you got 140 characters to make a point.
Right.
You got to make it funny, relatable. You got to tap into some kind of anger that's inside of everybody because that's what people laugh at, the shit that pisses them off. And then you have to find a picture that matches with that, or vice versa. Or you have to look at a picture and read the emotion of a still image of fucking a baby Yoda. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got to remind you of something. It's just a connection of the two things, but it's not, it might be hard, and maybe it is hard for people.
I just think that like finding the image also I think is a very tough thing.
Well, you got to scroll. You got to
Yeah.
look. You got to be in Reddit, up Reddit's ass.
Dude, and that's another thing. Reddit.
Yeah.
I wish I knew even 1% of what the fuck that even is, because I think it's so useful, and a lot of people who do social media stuff or YouTube or whatever, they use Reddit. And
It's
these
the
like
best.
subreddits. I don't even know what any of it means. Like I really don't know. Like I
So-
feel like I'm the most clueless fucking person on the internet when it
You
comes to
might
that
be.
shit.
You know who Ed Bassmaster is, or Bassmaster
Yeah.
or whatever. So I listen to his podcast. He's got the same kind of feel. Like he just doesn't care enough to learn
Right.
about it, but he's very funny. He's a very talented guy. He's really creative. He's got these characters that he does. But Reddit, so I relate to what you're saying because there's another website called 4chan, which I do not understand at all. And I've tried multiple times to dig into it and find out what the fuck is going on. I know that they have different, what Reddit would be on Reddit subreddits, but they have like different communities or whatever. And they're just slashes with letters, and you have to know what the letter means before you click in. Otherwise, you're caught up in some like crazy shit that you have I don't want to
Yeah.
see any of that. You know what I mean?
Dude, you know what I was so confused about? You remember when Shia LaBeouf did that thing?
Yeah, just do it.
No, the fucking, oh God. Oh, He Will Not Divide Us.
Oh, yeah.
Remember he was doing that?
Yeah.
And then there was these people that were making these like, to me, inside jokes through like 4chan or Reddit about this like frog meme. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, the frog meme lost its way for sure.
I was so confused what
feel
it
bad for
even
Pepe.
meant, but apparently it was like this, like anti-Semitic shit, or like I don't even know what it was, but I was like, what? Like, there's a whole layer of the internet that I'm just completely clueless about. Like I know like barely like surface level things. I've been making YouTube videos for like almost a decade. I
Yeah.
still don't really even know how to use my account, to be honest. Like I really don't.
I got a notification. Don't know what it means.
Yeah. Like I'm not completely clueless. Like my dad has a flip phone. I'm not like him, but I do know how to like use social media and like whatever, but there's just that deeper layer that I'm like, I don't
Yeah,
even
my-
know if I want to know, to be honest.
There's not much there. The surface is where it's all at. My dad with the memes, my mom told me that he follows my pages, but he cannot make the connection between the picture, the caption above, and the caption below. He doesn't know which one to read, and he gets angry. He's like, which one am I supposed to read, Maureen? I don't
Which one's the
understand.
joke?
Yeah, they're both the joke. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But he's not, he doesn't, he's 69 years old. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. He's a
Yeah.
retired Long Island Railroad engineer. He's good. He doesn't need to understand memes at all. I do. Because I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do for the rest of my life.
Right.
Still, I have no idea. I don't know if this is going to last. I have no clue.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about it too, because I feel like, I mean, a lot of people fizzle out when they do social media or they, whatever. But your job is never promised at all.
No.
Like ever. It doesn't matter how big you are.
No.
'Cause you've seen people make millions of dollars and have millions of views, and then they just go to zero.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Well, it's, and I've talked about this on here before, and I've gotten shit from people for saying this, but it's work. It is work. It's a lot of
yeah.
work to fucking think of, like for you, for instance, you got to think of an idea, write the script, record it, edit it, put it out. And then you got to watch the onslaught of good and bad feedback that you get. That's another job in and of itself.
If I'm being completely honest, I pride myself on never doing that. I never
Well, you don't read the comments?
at all. Like I very rarely read them. And it's funny because like now I have a legitimate like business that I've set up now. Like I have a podcast network like this, and you know, there's a couple shows that we do, and I have 2 editors, one of them being my co-host Danny, and you know, one cuts the shows, the other one just cuts clips for social media and whatnot. Like, and then I work with my brother's company that does, you know, digital marketing and whatever. So it's like a conveyor belt, and there's a lot of actual work going on. So it's funny when people, you know, you tell people like, oh yeah, you know, whatever, this and that. Even it's funny because people who recognize you and they go, oh my God, dude, like I love all your videos. I watch them all the time. Or I listen to the podcast, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, you make money doing that? It's just like, some people are so disconnected to that, you know?
Nah.
And I'm like, yo, what do you think? I'm just fucking...
I'm actually homeless.
Yeah, exactly. Like, nah, I live here, dude. I live at this bar.
Yeah. No, they don't. And I read something over the weekend about productivity. Like, did you see in Japan that Microsoft went to a 4-day work week and their productivity went up 40%?
Yes. And I think that is a great idea.
It's a great idea. Yeah. Because most of the time that people spend at work is wasted. And they did a survey or some kind of study. They found that the average person was productive for 2.5 hours during the day of an 8-hour workday.
Dude, when I worked at Daly, it was less.
And you get people who work for the town or something in town hall processing permits or whatever who fucking do Sudoku 7.5 hours a day telling me that I have no right to think that this is work. And it's not work because I have some kind of misgivings about calling it work because I was raised, I don't know if this is my parents or just something I picked up along the way. I was raised to believe that hard work should suck and be suffering and you're not supposed to enjoy it.
Right.
But I work way harder than I did any other job that I had, but I enjoy it, so it feels pleasurable. I don't attach pain to work anymore. I have like this weird skill that was useless 10 years ago, which is why I waited tables. Thank God I wasn't born in the 70s. I don't know what I would be doing.
I don't know.
And I've been able to monetize it, but it's a constant, there's a little bit of worry and a lot of appreciation for where I'm at. I think the appreciation helps because I appreciate where I'm at now, which makes me not want to go back to where I came from, which was not horrible. The job I had before this was selling fence. I sold fence for like 10 years and I loved it. I made money. I worked with friends. I got to spend time with my family, but this is way better.
Yeah. You know, that's the thing. Like people, like you said, they associate, like if you're not a fucking roofer in the middle of July, then they're like, oh, you working?
Yeah.
You know?
It's hard for you, bro.
Yeah. My dad was a fireman. He had his own construction company. So you can only imagine the conversations I've had with this guy about what I've been doing. You know what I mean? Like he'd be like, what the fuck? And then, you know, he's asking me like, how much? And I'm, you know,
more than you, Dad.
Having him in my life was good for me because it was a good balance of like, and also like my friend, like I have a bunch of friends, they don't give a fuck what I do and they don't give a shit, so it's great. But you know, and then having my dad who's like super confused and being like, what the fuck, I don't know what this is, like blah blah blah, like he should.
And the more you explain it, the less they understand it.
Yeah, like I had one of my uncles one time pull me aside at a wedding. He's like, listen, this is what you gotta do, you gotta apply to NYU and you're gonna learn how to write scripts. I was like, I'm not fucking... And he's like, you got to do TV. I was like, I'm not doing TV either.
TV.
Yeah.
It's not going to exist in 5 years.
I think less.
Yeah.
I don't even know why. The only reason why I have cable is to watch sports. If I didn't watch sports, I would not have cable at all.
No.
I don't watch anything on TV. And all the apps I have on my Apple TV, I don't pay for.
Why don't you get
someone else's?
Oh, they are?
Yeah, it's like my mom's or like my fucking brother-in-laws and shit. Like I don't have any. I paid for Disney Plus though.
You're on welfare basically.
Basically, yeah. I'm getting all this entertainment for free.
So you were not raised to be. Were your parents creative? Like where did this not gene but this bug to create and reach people come from?
You know what's crazy? No one's ever asked me that before. I have no idea. I mean, my dad. No one was like creative in my family. Like everyone.
Were your parents funny?
My dad's very funny.
Yeah.
And he's a very likable dude. And like everyone liked my dad. But he wasn't like, and he could play instruments, like, you know, whatever. I could play the piano, but like barely. And he's pissed about that. Dude, when I started playing Guitar Hero, this guy wanted to fuck me up. He's like, you're wasting your time playing this guitar. You could play the real one. It was like this whole conversation. But I don't know. Like, my sister can draw, but she never like took it seriously. Like I've seen her draw and I'm like, Jesus Christ, you know, like if you
should try.
You should apply. If you apply yourself when you were younger, you'd be amazing at it. But no one is, you know, I wouldn't say anyone's like creative in a way that does a creative thing. They're my mom works in a school. My brother used to work at a school, but now he works at the telecom company. My other brother just opened up his digital marketing agency.
Is that the brother? You used to have a brother, your brother on the podcast every once in a while, right?
Yeah, my brother Keith. He's the one who works at the telecom company now.
Okay.
Yeah, but my oldest brother, he was a gym teacher at a special ed school, and then he was training for the Olympics for a little bit for skeleton.
What's that?
Yeah, it's bobsled, but head first.
Oh, fuck that.
No,
it's luge, but head first, right?
Yeah. What did I say, bobsled?
Bobsled,
It's on the same track.
It's
but
4 people on a luge, head first.
Yeah, so he's on a board.
Yeah.
And he's head first going 90 miles an hour. And he's like, yo, if you come up and visit me, because they were in Lake Placid where they train. Yeah. And we went up and visited him a couple times and watched him, whatever. But he's like, if you come up on these days, you could try it out. I was like, I'm not fucking doing this. What are you, crazy?
Not coming on those days.
I was like, you're
well, you don't have to go that fast, right?
Well, they put you halfway down the track so you don't go as fast. But dude, 20 miles an hour on that thing would scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, but still, I feel like with that, maybe I don't understand how dangerous it is. I feel like if you fall off of it, you're just going to go with the ice anyway.
Yeah, that probably hurts like hell, though. He's had burns on his body. Okay. That, if you hit the wall for a second, you won't even have
skin.
I mean, you'll have it, but your skin will just turn purple, and it will happen through your layers. Yeah. It won't even make holes in your layers. It's a weird...
Yeah, that's like road rash. When I got a motorcycle recently, and I thought I bought this protective jacket, this thick leather jacket, and somebody was like, you got to be really careful on that thing because if you fall, you get road rash or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I got the jacket. They're like, it's not gonna
help you.
Yeah, if you're going 40 miles an hour and you fall on pavement, it's gonna fuck you up through the jacket. I was like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah. It's weird.
All right. But I understand it. I mean, it's just abrasion and friction. I do jujitsu and I get fucking bruised all the time and rubbed up and just things that I just started a couple of months ago. Yeah. So I didn't realize how sensitive my body was.
Yeah, I want to do jujitsu or Muay Thai or something. But
it's so much fun.
I have a torn ACL, so I'm afraid to throw kicks or even
just do jujitsu.
Yeah, but I also
there's no kicks.
In jujitsu? Oh yeah, choked. Just yeah. But I also feel like someone's gonna grab my ankle and my knee's just gonna pop.
Yeah, they could. Maybe you shouldn't.
I tore it in 2016.
It's not that much fun. Yeah, that's pretty. Is it all healed? Do you run or anything? Or
I could run. Yeah, I could run.
If you can run, you can do
deadlift
jiu-jitsu.
and squat and shit. Yeah. But it's because I used to play football every weekend. Me and my buddies play in a rough touch league, and that's how I tore it. But it's a high grade tear. I think it's gone now because I have zero pain whatsoever. It doesn't hinder my life at all. Yeah. But I know that if I just tried to run routes and that sharp lateral cutting, that will.
Well, you got to go to the right school. Also, you got to find a school who's full of the school that I go to, Monster in Long Island, is. I'm gonna make up a percentage. It's 60-70% cops. So these guys are not trying to get hurt either. Yeah. But I love that they're there because I feel like, cops have a rough job and they're in, they only get called when there's problems. Right. And they're dealing with people who don't want them there. Criminals. They don't want cops around. Mm-hmm. If they see a cop, they're like, fuck this guy. So I like the fact that they're trained to control their adrenaline because that's the biggest problem, I think, between cops and citizens is you have these police who are not trained to control their emotions. They're, they're just kids, most of them. I'm saying kids under 30. And, you get in a situation where an average person would be frightened, and that person is frightened also. They just happen to have a uniform and a gun on. Yeah. So you pull the gun out because you're scared, and then all of a sudden it's oh, fuck, I just killed this person. What am I going to do now?
Yeah, dude,
They got to learn to control their adrenaline. That's the biggest thing.
It's it's so crazy because when you see videos of shit like that happening, you're yo, what is this guy even fucking thinking? But then also at the same time, I remember I was having a conversation with my friend one time, and he kind of put it in perspective because he's if you had a gun and someone came in here with a gun, what would you do? And I'm I'm fucking lighting this guy up.
Yeah,
what do you think? You know what I mean? I'm not going to wait for him to shoot somebody for me to start shooting.
There's still people.
And then he was saying how he's I can't give a definitive answer because I like to think that I would just shoot this guy. But you also don't know how you're going to react in situations of panic because a lot of people just freeze, It's kind of like the deer in the headlights thing. It's that happens to humans too. In scary situations where they just freeze up, And this is a very way smaller scale of it, but one of my friends was walking my other friend's dog and it popped off the leash and ran to the street. And two of my friends just like stood there and didn't know what to do. But I'm sure if you ask them, like, yo, what would you do if the dog like popped off the leash and ran to the street?
Tackle it, bro.
It's like, yo, I'm running after it. We got to corner it, you know? But they just stop and froze because like, oh shit, like I don't know what to do, you know?
Yeah, because you don't know, like, there's too many variables. If you, just for that, like my friend Dave, who lived in Manhattan and had a dog, he explained a similar situation, but his dog was deaf. So he was in New York City, the dog got off the leash and he ran into the street, but he didn't want to yell because the dog wouldn't hear him, and he didn't want to run after it because he didn't want the dog to think that he was like playing
a game.
Yeah, and then he runs and he gets fucking hit by a taxi at 30 miles an hour. So, but that's what I'm saying with the adrenaline. Like you learn to control yourself when somebody's on top of you, squeezing you, ripping your collar through your fucking throat and trying to choke you and grab your arm and your leg. And when somebody cuts you off on the road, it's like,
Yeah.
Some people are very sensitive and they don't realize how they're in fight, flight, or freeze all the time with nobody to fight, nobody to run away from, and no real threat. But when you have the threat 3 or 4 times a week, that's what I'm saying. That's
Makes
why
it easier, yeah.
Well, you become accustomed to saying, all right,
I gotta chill. Yeah, exactly.
just relax.
yeah.
There's really no problems. But when you're a police officer, there are real problems. And if you have that kind of training, like I think it should be mandatory for police to do jujitsu.
Yeah.
It should
or
be
some
part,
sort of like, you know, extracurricular. I feel like
but it has to be ongoing.
if you're a good athlete,
Yeah.
I think that also helps because there are times where you know, I mean, I don't know if this is an actual connection I'm trying to make right now, but like, I feel like a good athlete in times where, you know, you're down 20 points
Pressure.
at half, you're like, yo, I can't play differently. I have to just play my game, and you have to just, you know, go about it a certain way. Like the good players will rise to the top in those occasions. Like being clutch, like in the NBA, like hitting those shots is because you're like calm.
Yeah.
But if you're tense, your shot's different.
Yeah.
Or you're shooting too far or whatever. Like you have to just play your game, and like that sort of thing also can play into those situations. But again, I mean, shooting a basketball and fucking having a person run at you with a knife, you're like, I don't fucking know what I do here. Do I just shoot this guy or what?
Did you just compare shooting a basketball to shooting a human being?
Yeah, that's exactly
That's
what
the
I
clip
did.
we're gonna
You
use.
should have seen what I did the other day. I got some shit from on my podcast I was talking about.
What happened? What'd you do?
Because we were having a conversation about
Podcasts get out of control so fast, by the way.
yeah, and like you know what? Like I really don't have like a any hatred in my body, and I feel like I could defend anything.
You seem like a
I-
nice guy.
Yeah, like I you know, I try to like keep it nice. Like I don't have any like crazy opinions or anything. But we were talking about like if someone's transgender, should they have to disclose that they're transgender on a first date?
Mhm.
You know, I think yeah, and I also, but to their benefit.
Depends on how hot they are.
Well, I think that they have to. If I was transgender, that's what I would want to do, because obviously I'm not like oblivious to the fact that some people aren't cool with that.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to waste my time on a date with somebody if they're not cool with that.
Or a
so
second
I would
or
tell
third
them.
date.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And like, if you know, like you have to know if you're transgender that a lot of people aren't cool with that, or yet. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's still like a very new thing as far as mainstream goes.
Yeah.
And I compared it. It was funny because what you just did, I compared it, but I also justified it like immediately. I was like, I'm not saying these are the same things, but I compared it to like if someone has herpes.
Yeah.
Like you should tell them that. You don't wait.
First
until-
date?
Yeah, I think so. But why waste your time? Like if I have herpes and I'm on a date with somebody, why am I going to waste my time with this person if I know 4 dates down the line they're going to go, dude, I'm really not cool with that. And you're like, all right, well, and now I got to walk away when I already like, you know, created these feelings for you after 4 dates and talking and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Why would I waste that? Or why would I
it
set
depends.
myself up?
I think the argument can be made for how important it is to you as a human being. Like I'm a recovering alcoholic, and when I would go on dates, that would be first date topic. I would say, I don't drink. I had a problem with it. I'm not going to drink if I have anything to do with it or if I can help it. So if drinking is important to you, just want to let you know, like, it's not going to work.
The same thing. That's the same thing.
But
to
being
me.
transgender and being a recovering alcoholic, I think are more similar than having herpes. Herpes is like, it's an STD. Not that like it's cool, but it's not who you are. It's something you have. Transgendered people, that's like a lot of their identity.
No, yeah, and like the only thing that I'm comparing the two is that it's something that other people might not be cool with.
Yeah.
You know, not saying like what it actually is.
Yeah.
I'm saying in the general sense of it being, like you're saying, Some people don't want to date someone who's like, oh no, I'm not going to drink. It's like, oh, well, like I want to date a guy who I go out and we get drunk together and blah, blah, blah. Where you're like, well then, this isn't going to work.
Not the right guy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the same kind of deal to me where it's like, if you know that this might be a red flag for some people,
yeah,
then, I would bring it up immediately. Because if it is something that's like a deal breaker, like in a perfect situation for me, you go on a first date, I would love to know if there's a deal breaker today. I don't want to find out in 2 months.
Yeah.
When it's like, oh, this is who I am, and you just found this out 2 months in because I was hiding it from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I think you should get that out there.
It's also a hard topic to broach.
No, yeah.
On a first date.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it.
I know I'm Tammy now, but I used to be Tom. And
yeah, and you're like, all right.
Just wanted to let you know. But some people, like I on the other end of the spectrum, I've seen, and only on Twitter, because on Twitter people are out of their minds, and in real life they're much more reasonable.
Yeah.
But I've read that, like, if you are a person who doesn't want to date a transgender person, that makes you transphobic, and you should be ashamed of that. And it's like, I don't really think that that's the case. People are attracted to what they're attracted to. They're into what they're into. I've never chosen, and this is something that I learned within the last couple of years that melted away, let's say, 30 years of rejection for me, because it was basically this book that laid out this principle, or this premise that, like, your DNA determines who you're attracted to. You have no say in it at all. I've never seen a girl and chosen not to be attracted to her, or chosen to be attracted to her. It's just like, I like the way her face looks.
Yeah.
I like the way she smells and the way she walks. I've never made a choice, so that means that when I flip it, nobody's ever made a choice not to be attracted to me. They're just fucking something about me made their DNA scream out and say, run away from this guy. He's not into you.
Yeah.
It just made me not want to take it personally.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on board. Like, I'm on your side. Like,
Yeah.
I agree with everything you're saying.
But
like,
I'm on the side of logic and the truth. I'm not on the side of, like, trying to make everybody happy. I know that everyone deserves the right to be happy, and if my opinions hurt you, I do feel bad about that, but not to the point where I'm going to change my worldview, because there's only one of you, and there's 7.5 billion people that I can't consider everybody. I can only consider myself and the people that are close to me when I make a decision based on information that I have. And if new information comes in, I'm very open to changing my opinion. I'm not stubborn at all. I actually love new information.
Yeah, I say that all the time. Like, because people, like, one time I said in a video, like, that I would never get a tattoo. And, like, first of all, it's like a video where I'm trying to be funny. I have a tattoo now.
Yeah.
And people, when I got it, were, like, quoting and, like, sending me the link, or, like,
I don't care.
like, whatever, of being like, you remember when you said that? And I was like, yeah, I was fucking 21 when I said that. Like, this is almost a decade later, or like whatever, 6-7 years later.
People love to get you.
Yeah, but it's, and it was another thing, because I did a video, when Bruce Jenner transitioned to Caitlyn Jenner, I put out this video talking about it, because so many people were like freaking out. But like, I had a problem with both sides. Like, on one side, you have these people that are psychotic and are like, this is fucking wrong, and like losing their minds over it. And I'm like, okay, relax.
Yeah.
But on the other side, there was a lot of people who were like, if you aren't attracted to her, or you don't think this is totally fine right now, or like whatever, then you're an awful person.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, this is like a really...
But that's the internet.
But it's like a wild transit. Like, I feel like, realistically, give people some time to like get accustomed, to this. That for me was the first time that it was very like mainstream.
Yeah.
Where it's like, here's a giant celebrity in the middle of like the peak of their success, transitioning,
who was also
into a
known
woman.
for being very masculine, athletic.
Yeah, he was like a fucking American hero, and then transitions, and everyone's just supposed to be like, oh, she's fucking, this is totally fine, it's beautiful, I have nothing else to say. That is all. It's like, that's not realistic.
No.
But it's also not like, you shouldn't be like, oh, gross. Like, that is a whole other thing.
Well, I think, to your point, you got to let people evolve at their own speed. But people,
They're so turbo.
they don't want.
It's like, but like, both sides are so turbo. It's like, love her right now, or it's like, oh, fuck this, let's go burn her house down. It's like, why? What about the middle, where it's kind of like, yeah, cool, do your thing.
I think a lot more people in the middle than the internet would have you believe. I think it's like,
oh, absolutely.
It's like 5% on either side.
Yeah.
In everything. I think that as far as like any hot topic, you have people who are extreme on all sides, and those people on the extreme left and the extreme right are so much closer to each other than the people in the middle are to the people on the extremes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you have the people in the middle who take in, who lived. You can't. I realized I feel the way that I feel about certain things because of my upbringing and the experiences that I've had in my life. I was thinking about this while we were talking about this. Some people would have a field day with two straight white dudes talking about transgender
yeah,
rights.
exactly.
They just don't. I mean, but I am a human being existing on this planet right now, and I do think about this stuff. And when I think about things, most of the time I form an opinion. Whether or not you care about it is a totally different ballgame.
Right.
But the people on the extremes, they've gone so far to the extreme that they came around to the other side and touched each other, and now they're like the same, just they don't realize it. And then you have the people in the middle, the 80% of people who are just like, I live my life. I want to have a good life. I want you to have a good life too. If your good life gets in the way of my good life, maybe we have an issue, maybe we don't, but I'm sure we can figure it out like normal people.
Yeah, I think that, I can't stand people like when you meet someone and like off the bat, you're like, I hate this guy.
Yeah.
Because it's like the way that they talk, the things that they believe, like everything's so definitive. Like I have no definitive thoughts.
Great.
Like at all. Like I'm completely open to my mind being changed. I'm not narrow-minded at all when it comes to certain things. And, when people are just so like, this is it, or this is how I was brought up, so this is the thing. And it's like, dude, isn't there a possibility you're wrong?
Yeah.
Like why can't, like when all this stuff happens and everyone like complains about, whatever, like gay marriage being legalized was like the fact that people go like, and I actually made this joke one time where I'm like, yo, these like straight dudes are going to Staples.
Yeah.
And buying oak tag, drawing, and putting pictures on, putting it on a stick and going out and marching.
Yeah. It's pretty gay.
It sounds kind of gay. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, yo, you guys are what? Like, how do you have you have no job? Like you have no. This is what you're doing with your time.
Yeah. Self-awareness for those people is pretty low.
It's just, and you're on the side of the road. This isn't 1930.
I hate side of the road.
This is 2019. You're on the side of the road?
Side of
For
the road,
who?
motherfuckers. I honk at them, but for all the wrong reasons. They get excited when I honk. I'm like, no, fuck you with the rat outside Home Depot. Stop.
Dude, are the
You
people
blew
just
up a
like,
rat?
I don't get that. You're standing on the side of the road with a piece of oak tag, with a science project.
I found.
What the fuck is that? Like, and this is like,
And they're proud.
you know what's the craziest
They're
thought?
doing their part, they think.
The craziest part is like, do those people actually, in their minds,
Yeah.
think, if we do this enough,
Yeah.
people are going to listen?
Yeah.
And gay people are going to go, you know what? You're right. I'm
Yeah.
done being gay now.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
No, it doesn't make
How
any
could you
sense.
possibly think that?
Because they're mentally, they're not developed. They're
At all.
Super immature.
Yeah.
And self-centered and narcissistic. And that's like,
I feel like that's even harder, though. I think it's easier just to be like, yeah, cool.
oh, it's definitely harder.
Like-
Those people are not happy, dude.
Yeah, it's like, it's so hard to like have an opinion that like definitive is so tough.
They don't wake up and are like, oh, yes,
Ugh.
another day.
God.
I actually, I had this thought when the Kavanaugh proceedings were going on.
Yeah.
And it really bothered me, the fact that you could tell somebody's politics by whether or not they believe this woman was raped. You could tell if they were like a conservative or a liberal. It's fucking really aggravating to me, because I said to my business partner, I was like, I wish I could just pick a side. Because I watch him talk and I'm like, man, he really seems like he didn't do it. Like, he's pretty convincing. And then I watch her talk and I'm like, oh, he definitely did it. And then he starts talking again and I'm like, maybe. Like, if I was just a conservative, I'd be like, she's a fucking whore. She doesn't remember what's going on.
Yeah.
And if I was a liberal, I would obviously just believe her. But the same thing happened with The Irishman on Netflix.
Yeah.
People that are Trump supporters cannot enjoy this movie because Robert De Niro's in it, and Robert De Niro doesn't like Trump.
That is so fucking
Ill.
stupid. But like, dude, the fact, like, politics in general, to me, it's so funny because like I'll be on the treadmill at the gym and they have TVs up and there's like CNN, there's Fox, there's like all of them are there. And I'm just looking at the headlines.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it's
they're
just so
insane.
funny. I'm like, these are children being like, oh, well, they said this.
Yeah.
So that's why we're better. And our color is, it's like, yo, like I have no idea what I am, like Democrat, Republican, whatever.
Independent.
The fuck. People just call me a snowflake all the time whenever I say something like, oh, maybe we shouldn't burn down churches with gay people in them or something crazy. I'm like, maybe we shouldn't do that. And they're like, oh, this guy's a snowflake. And I'm like,
cock.
First of all, don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on record. Okay.
I
could kind of figure it out with context, but I don't know like what it means.
I don't melt down easily.
But I think just like the fact that, like I said, I can be swayed. So it's like these kind of things make sense and these kind of things make sense. But I'm not just going to believe everything.
Can I just say for people not watching on video, you're so Italian, the mic is out of control. It's just swinging everywhere.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. But
my mic has not moved an inch.
Yeah, I'm a fidgeter too. Like I'm touching everything. But I just agree with a bunch of different things, and I think, you know, especially in politics, like these adults are like, you know, oh, let's just not mention the fact that Trump said this thing because, you know, it was super fucked up, whatever he did. Like, let's just say there was a hypothetical situation where it's like, he fucked up. A hypothetical one, right?
Because he's never done
I can't think of an excuse right now. He did something, and then you're like, oh, you know what? We're just going to choose to ignore that, not address it. But all these things, like I care about these things right here.
Yeah, it's just the self-awareness and hypocrisy. I think the two go hand in hand. If you have low self-awareness, you're going to be a hypocrite because you want different rules for you than for other people. And it's like, you know, I forgot, some comedian had a great bit on abortion. Who the fuck was it?
All of them?
Hard topic to talk about with and be funny, but Chappelle said basically, my stance on abortion is entirely dependent on who I've gotten pregnant.
Right.
So if I got the girl pregnant, I'm pro-choice, and if I didn't, then I'm pro-life.
Right.
Which is like the most brilliant way to possibly. There's nobody needs to say anything about it after that.
Right. Yeah.
Because these guys are anyway. I want to talk about The Rock.
The Rock.
Your big coming out party.
My big coming out party with The Rock. Yeah.
Which I remember, and I was excited for you. Shannon loves The Rock, by the way. Shannon wishes.
Also love The Rock.
Yeah, she loves The Rock.
That's a guy I'd climb.
Fucking spelunk his ass.
Oh yeah.
I remember watching your videos, becoming aware of who you are, enjoying your stuff, watching it, whatever, and then I saw you doing something with The Rock. What was that?
So,
first of all,
yeah,
what was it like when you got the phone call or the email?
This is a crazy story. You're going to call me an idiot, and you're probably going to slap me, so I'm going to move my chair back a little bit. But when I originally was contacted by his team, they were like, The Rock is, because this is when he was just launching his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So they were like, you know, we're looking for a host.
We need somebody who's actually talented to be on the
They needed someone who was like a loud dude that's going to make fun of everyone.
Shannon, edit that out, please.
They needed a loud dude that was like, that was going to make fun of everyone, right?
Yeah.
And at the time on YouTube, I felt like I was filling a void, and I was the only one kind of doing that shit. Everyone else was very happy-go-lucky on YouTube, and I was more of like, fucking shit, you know? So they contacted me. They said, you know, The Rock is launching his YouTube channel. He has this series coming out called Rock the Promo, and we want you to host it. And it's filming for, I think it was like 2 weeks in LA or something. And at the time, I was forming my business and I had a lot of shit to do. So I was like, nah, can't do it. You know, even though like whatever, but I was just like, I can't really do it because, you know, just being away for 2 weeks isn't going to work for me like right now. And the dates that they gave me, you know, I was like, but if we can move it around or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And apparently he wanted me to do it. Like he was like sold on me doing it, that a team came to New York to film it. Yeah. And we did it in New York. And it was basically like a series about, you know, it was open to the public and he had people send in promos, like they would cut promos against each other. And then people would decide on who was the best. It was
a wrestling thing, right?
Yeah. So they would just like cut promos and like whatever, like when they're talking on the mic or whatever. And
it's a dumb idea, right? That's why it didn't work.
I mean, and they had like
had nothing to do
guests.
with you. You were great.
They had special guests, so they had like wrestlers on and whatnot. So it was cool. But he was, dude, that guy is like he's like the coolest dude in the world.
Everything Shannon thinks he is.
Yeah, dude. Like he's honestly like one of the nicest dudes I've ever met. Like, and I was shocked too because when I went, like I had been, I mean, I was freaking out because in the 90s, like Stone Cold and The Rock were like fucking heroes, you know, for people who watch wrestling. It was like, oh my God. And The Rock was like a huge star, blah, blah, blah. And so this is all like, yo, this is crazy for me, you know, like this opportunity to do this. But I had never met him.
And he just got bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
He was a huge star.
Yeah, he's like the biggest movie star on the planet now. It's crazy.
He's fucking tremendous.
But so I had never met him throughout this whole process. And then the finale, they were filming in Vegas. And we filmed it, and it was cool. He got off a plane. He flew from Hawaii to Vegas because he was filming Jumanji at the time. Flew from Hawaii to Vegas, shot with us, then went to do Mr. Olympia and like host that whole thing.
Yeah.
Did some other appearance, got back on the plane and went back to Hawaii to film the rest of the movie. Like this is one day for this guy. And the entire time, like I was close with this girl on set who was like a PA or something. Anytime she texted him, and she was telling me, she's like, anytime I text him, he'll answer within a second.
Yeah.
Like he's on top of everything. And who is she, you know, at the end of the day?
Yeah.
She's not like a crazy higher up or anything.
Yeah.
But he will answer everyone. He's like very on top of his shit, and he like does it all like himself. You know, like he's just like a good dude. And when I met him, he was like extremely nice to me, and we had a really good chemistry to the point where someone was like, yo, you guys like friends or whatever? I was like, I just fucking met this guy. I was like, you know, I'm not, you know, whatever. But yeah, he was a really good dude. And I actually...
Oh, there he is.
On the... Yeah.
Look.
Jeez, yo. That's a fucking long time ago. But on the plane ride to Vegas, I wrote a script idea. I was more so killing time. I didn't think he would actually like shoot anything with me, you know? Because we had to do this thing and he had a bunch of stuff to do. But I wrote this sketch out for me and him to do. And I sent it to his producer. And they liked it. But then when I landed there, that guy came up to me and he was like, yo, he can't do it because he just doesn't have the time to do it.
Yeah.
He's like, but he wants to do something. And like, I'm like thinking, I didn't even remember at this point that I fucking wrote a script or anything that they read.
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? I don't even know right now. But I wrote it like a whatever script. Apparently he read it, liked it, and then he came up to me and he was just like, I can't, you know, his producer told me that he can't do it, whatever. And then he came up to me, he's like, dude, let's shoot something. He's like, we'll just turn the cameras on and like improv something. Like, what do you want to do? And I was like, all right, let's just you tell me that I was like not the first choice for this job. I'll get mad about it, and then you like rock bottom me at the end. And he was like, cool.
It's really all about getting rock bottom.
Yeah, that's all I wanted. I was like, yo, I need to get rock bottom so I can tell my friends.
I'm gonna call you a piece of shit, and you just do your thing, people's elbow, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what happened. We turned the cameras on, and it was like one take, and it was like really cool. And that was just like, yeah, he was a cool
and that was
guy,
so
man.
it was supposed to be a one-time thing, a open closed-ended event that you were doing with him.
What do you mean?
Like, it wasn't like it didn't work. It was just like it was only supposed to be 2 weeks. Because I wondered what happened because it just stopped.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did like a season of it because they did it like a bracket style, like, you know, whatever, like the tournament. And the winner won. And it was like, that was the finale in Vegas. And like, I don't know if they're bringing it back or anything. I don't even know if I'm like super interested in doing it, honestly.
Yeah.
But it was a cool experience to like meet him and work with his team.
Yeah.
And like, you know, go through the motions of that. But
So you're a busy guy.
yeah, at the moment.
Yeah. Is this it for you?
That's it. That's all I have. Thank you so much.
No, I mean, like, well, yeah, we're almost done. But
No, I'm joking.
is this like, are you like, so you have not worked, let's say, a traditional job since what?
2012.
Oh, so it's been a long time.
Yeah. I've been doing this for a while now. And now, you know, I've been fortunate enough to, well, just kind of like, you know, I have an older brother that kind of keeps me in check too, of being like, and I knew this going in, that like none of this is like promised. So you had to try everything. Yeah. And like YouTube for a very long time was like my main income, and it was doing very well. Like I was pulling in 1 million views a week on a video.
Wow.
So that's millions in a month, you know? And like that's a pretty good paycheck. And eventually I just stepped away from doing that like at its peak. Like I just stopped making YouTube videos on there because I didn't like doing it anymore. And I liked the podcasting space more. And I was always doing that on the side. And I just stepped away from it completely. And now I've been focusing on the podcast stuff. And then, you know, there's a, you know, business being formed, like a media company.
What about live stuff?
Live stuff, yeah. It's all is like hand in hand with it.
Yeah.
You know, there's been things along the way that have, you know, helped me out, like cool experiences. Like I helped create this game Speak Out with Hasbro. Do you know that game where you like put the things in your mouth and hold your mouth open? Yeah, so I fucking like created that game.
No.
Yeah.
The thing that was on Ellen?
Yeah. and like Fallon, all those fucking people played it. It's crazy. I have my own version of it with my face on it.
Wait, what was the name of the company?
Hasbro.
No. The name of the game.
Speak Out.
What was it called before that? Was it called anything else?
I made a video called Watch Your Mouth.
Watch Your Mouth.
Yes.
Because I remember
there's a bunch of like random ones that exist that are like that are the game.
Yeah.
So there's like a bunch of them. So that's the one.
Because Watch Your Mouth reached out to me years ago to do promos for them, and I passed because they didn't want to pay enough. Was that you or no?
No.
Oh,
so
good.
that game.
Fuck Watch Your Mouth.
Yeah.
Speak Out is the original.
That game like that. When I put out the video, and this was like because I'm with William Morris, and like the first 2 weeks I was with them, I dropped this video with my brothers and sisters. It literally happened like this. I saw James Corden on his show. He had Melissa McCarthy on, and they had those things in their mouth, and they were trying to like blow bubbles and drink water, but obviously it just like spills out of your mouth, looks a little ridiculous. So I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with these things, but I'm gonna buy them and we'll figure it out. Because I used to do videos with my brothers and sisters, and so I bought this like $40 dentist set that had like 4 of them in there and a bunch of other shit that I just threw out. So I originally had this plan of doing like a bunch of different challenges, and that was going to be the video.
Yeah.
But as we were doing it, we all were kind of like, this sucks. Like, let's not do this. And then we just decided like, all right, let's write for the other team like a thing, and they have to guess what it is in this amount of time, like blah, blah, blah. So we just created the game on the fly, and I put the video out, and it went fucking crazy overnight.
Wow.
So I was calling my agent and like emailing him and like his assistant and like all this stuff. And I'm like, we need to like wake up and like make this game right now, Because like a lot of people were like, is this a real thing that we could purchase? So I was like, oh my God, we got to like jump on this opportunity. And we ended up partnering with Hasbro. And that's how that happened. And it was
so you're
crazy.
rich now. Good for you, man.
No.
Good for you.
No,
I'm happy for you. You deserve it. Fucking guy. No, I know you know, in all honesty, being in this, in this space for a little while now, I know how hard it is to keep doing things and to abandon things that aren't working anymore, even as much as, they may have worked in the past. You just got to be like, the two things that I value the most, I think, over everything are persistence and flexibility. Yeah. And those have become completely indispensable to making this work, because if you give up too quick, you never make it. And if you don't adjust your sails and become flexible mentally as far as what you're willing to, absorb, like we tried this didn't work, we have to try it another way. We still want the same end result, but obviously the way that we tried it is not working. You're not going to make it in this business, or any business really. You could do a job, I guess, if you're rigid, which is why I don't like people who are rigid, because it's like, it's just not the way I want to live my life. I figure I have 100 years on this earth, and I'm 39 now, and I've lived who knows how many different lives just because of my ability to like not be an asshole, and not be stubborn and rigid.
Yeah, I think also like people ask me for advice all the time, and like the only things that I consider myself good at is I'm very realistic with myself, so I know when something's not working out and this is wrong. Like, is it, you can tell, like, it just doesn't feel right. Like, I'm not one of those people that just chases a dream into the ground. And it's like, you have to know, like, either this is like good stuff and like it'll eventually, you'll get your shot. Yeah. Because you could go viral at any time, but you have to be prepared to go viral. So if you go viral, you're not prepared, it doesn't matter. Yeah. But you have to believe in the portfolio you're creating for that moment that you're going to get it. Because if you are good, you're going to get it. Yeah. Like, it's going to happen. The good stuff rises to the top always. I'm a firm believer in that. Yeah. But I'm not one of those people that will consistently like do this and do this and do this, and it's like shitty. Everyone thinks it's shitty, and I know that I could be doing a better job, and I'm like, oh, whatever. Like, one of the things that you have to do is be realistic with yourself, and the other thing is you have to know when to walk away, because not walk away completely from your dream, but walk away from the way that you're currently doing it. Like, you have to, do whatever. And that was something I had to do early on in my career. I was doing the YouTube thing. I wasn't getting paid any money, had like 250,000 subscribers. And I was just like, I'm not making money from this, but if I start a new channel, then I can make money from it. And who knows where that could go. Yeah. So I completely walked away from 250,000 subscribers and started a new channel from zero. And then I was able to make money from then on. But if I never made that move, because I was like, this is too many people to walk away from, and like, this is the channel that people know, and like I hung on to this thing, then there would be no growth. Yeah. So that is, a very important thing, I think, in any business.
Yeah. So we got to wrap it up now, but people know where to find you, right?
You guys are just
Listen, plug your podcast. You'll get 2 or 3 listeners off of it, guaranteed.
podcast is called The Basement Yard. It comes out every Monday.
That's your main one. What's the other one?
Yeah, so I have a couple. I mean, there's another show that I do called Other People's Lives.
This motherfucker loves talking.
Me and my you just can't get me to shut the fuck
He's
up.
good at it.
There's another podcast I do called Other People's Lives with my buddy Greg. We call strangers anonymously, and they have like a crazy story or some whatever. So you get some insight on, a wild story. Like, for instance, we have an episode coming out from someone who survived the Vegas shooting. So to get their like perspective on it, like a crazy story, or like maybe someone has a weird fetish or whatever. So we get, that's a really cool one. But honestly, I just want everyone to go follow at Santagato Studios. Good luck spelling that. That is kind of a thing I'm working on at the moment, where I'm doing a lot of collaborations with people. Hopefully, one day I'd get you on there to do some content and whatnot.
Oh yeah. Santagato Studios.
Yes.
For the I did it Irish for you. So
there you
people
go.
can understand.
There you go.
Santagato Studios.
Santagato Studios.
Yeah, and Joe Santagato on all platforms, right?
Yes, sir. That is it.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
All of it.
Santagato. It's
Dude, you're impressing me right
Santa
now.
Cat, right?
Yeah. People don't even know. But literally today, I went to go buy paint, right? And I'm at the store, and the guy goes, he's like filling out, because he's got to give me a fucking coupon, whatever the hell it is. And he's like, what's your last name? I'm like, Santagato. And he goes, Santiago. How do you spell it? And I was like, I literally just fucking said it.
Yeah.
Everyone's Santiago. They
Yeah.
see S-A-N-T and they go Santiago.
Yeah, no, Santagato. I got it. I'm good with last names. My last name is Resh, so it's like five letters.
Resh.
Have been baffling people since I was in-
R-E-S-C-H.
Yeah.
Dude.
Fucking wow.
I was in the spelling bee in 5th grade.
Mutual respect.
I lost on travel, though, so there's that. But I beat my entire class, made it to the spelling bee, lost on travel.
I was just about to end it, but how did you lose on travel?
Because I'm an idiot, dude.
How did you spell it? Travle? Oh,
and the lady who was giving me the word
you are dumb
probably
as
thought she was giving me like a layup. And I knew every word. The winning word was treasure. I was like, oh my God, I would have crushed treasure. But for some reason, I was in front of the whole school in the auditorium. And she was like, yeah, travel. She didn't even like bring her head up. She had her head down. She was like, travel. And I started spelling it, and I said L-E, and she just looked up at me like this.
Are you fucking
And I was
retarded,
like, fuck,
son?
dude. And I just sat down. I was like, I'm an idiot. So,
All right, well, on that note, thanks for coming down, man.
Of course.
Interesting getting to know you. I wish you the best of luck. And
appreciate it.
I'll go get that game. Speak out.
Go get it, man.
Bye.